powered by Riverside.
It's your fearless host. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a Monday night.
Yes, sir.
A beautiful, beautiful unofficial start to the free agency.
Yeah, it's been a
It's
fun
been
day.
it's been quite amazing.
I've been stuck on Twitter all day.
It's been
X.
amazing. Well, peeps, it's your fearless host, like I mentioned, Joxy and Degs, back at it again. Today, this is a NFL episode actually, so we got a little special one for you. So, without further ado, let's get things started.
Cheers, buddy. I didn't talk into the can this week.
That was hilarious. Did you watch the episode last week on
Nah, I
YouTube?
just listened to it on my way to
So I
work.
watched it, and it was just hysterical. Like rewatching that, and I rewinded it like several times, and I'm just like, "That's hilarious." It was like, "Cheers, buddy."
I was so out of sorts. Back on track this week, though.
Back on track. Yeah, man. So excited. How's your day been? Good.
Yeah, can't complain for a Monday. Work wasn't too busy. I
Mhm.
was able to keep up.
Yeah.
You know, I made us a little list through the day here. It's been fun. I love NBA free agency the most, I'd say,
Mhm.
but NFL the rapid fire that go because there's so many players to be signed. That's what I do love. It is cool, especially like day one and day two are the greatest. So it's been an eventful day today. A lot of big time guys going elsewhere.
I'm very excited to dive into this week's episode. Yeah, with just everything that's going on with the NFL. So yeah, this week we're gonna take off for the NBA. Um, just want to kind of give a little bit of a break right now. Our Sixers aren't doing too well, so that's also another reason. Like we're just
And you know what? This is important stuff to cover. So
this is very important, a lot more important right now than anything in the NBA. There's nothing crazy going on in the NBA. NCAA though, that last night was crazy. I don't know if you saw that LSU and the LSU and South Carolina women's NCAA game.
I did. Was that the buzzer beater? Oh no, that was the
No,
fight. That was the
that
fight.
was the fight.
Oh
The
yeah,
last
yeah,
2 minutes of the
yeah, yeah,
game,
yeah,
and
yeah.
um, I just
That was wild.
that was wild. But Dawn Staley, shout out to her because she had such an like a commendable like post game speech, and like she apologized and everything. And no offense to the coach to in LSU. I don't know her. I forgot her name,
Yeah. I know her face, not her name.
but what a lot of people were kind of like complaining is that she kind of just she never like talked down on the situation. She more so just kind of like egged it on. I feel like so. Unfortunate situation there, but South Carolina won. That's going to be actually a really good matchup to see again in the tournament. And I do want to shout out to Cormac Ryan from UNC. Homeboy went off
That was a
against Duke.
big win.
Dude, if Daryl Morey wasn't doing anything that night, he better have had that game on and had Cormac Ryan circled. I know that there's probably plenty of teams that are going to go after him now, sure, but
See, freshman.
I mean, he's. I don't. Let me actually let me double check. Let's
Take a quick peek.
quick peek into Cormac Ryan's his status right now because I know he transferred from Notre Dame, so he is a senior, so perfect. He will
Okay,
be
gotcha.
declaring for the NBA draft after the season.
Yeah.
So one person to be watching for. But without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into this week's episode with the NFL. So many things happened.
Yeah.
A lot of things. First off, what I want to say is Shout out to our host Degs. So Degs is the one that typically will, put together the topics every single week when we're recording, and the man went into detail this week with the amount of players right now on the list. 81, not counting Austin Eckler, so that's 82.
I think I don't got Eckler on there.
No, I don't think. Do you have Eckler on there? I didn't. I mean, I could have missed him.
I do. I have him on there.
Never
73.
mind. So 81 total players today. Well, I don't want to say today because I know there's a few here. Like
Yeah. No.
you have Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox that retired and whatnot and so
Yeah.
forth. But overall with free agency, a lot of things have been going on with this off season. So yeah, I mean, without further ado, let's just go ahead and let's get started. So
Yeah. We can go through it. I was tracking it up until I headed over here. There was a couple big moves that happened. Michael Onwenu signed back with the Patriots, and
yeah,
then my boy Aziz Al Shire, he left us for the rivals, the Texans. So they're two big ones off the list. But
yeah, and DeAndre Swift, I love you, bud. I know that one year in Philly, it's done. I mean, you did your thing.
I liked it, and we'll start there, right? Him Barkley, the Barkley signing. That's probably got to be your favorite of the day.
1000% is
Yeah.
my yeah. My if I'm going to be biased, that's going to be a biased Joxy will say yes. That's my favorite one of the day. Unbiased Joxy, I'm going to actually say I like the Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
signing with Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's a great fit. Finally, Kyle Pitts gets some, a competent quarterback, a real
Yeah.
quarterback.
NFL quarterback.
Drake London's going to be a hot commodity in fantasy, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Both of them. I mean, all that offense with Bijan, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London, they're going to be a hot commodity in fantasy. Do I think that moves the needle to the point where they're actually going to compete for a Super Bowl? I don't think that ever will happen. Who knows? Depending on how
Yep.
they construct that defense and that whole offense and whatnot right now. But that team is going to be very, very good. They're
I agree.
a lot better than obviously when Arthur Smith was their god awful head
Well,
coach.
he's probably looking at them like, you son of a bitches, you finally got a quarterback.
Well, let's not, and I do want to give you some time to talk on Kirk Cousins, and then we'll shift over to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Kirk. It's a great move on both sides
Yeah,
for Kirk and for the team. Uh, I do agree. I think it propels them to the point where I kind of like them in that division now. Potentially next year, I think that definitely um, at least puts them on the level with the Bucks. Their solid defense, better than Minnesota. Offensive lines probably better than it was in Minnesota. Weapons as a whole, I think's about on par, right? I mean,
yeah.
obviously you can't replace Justin Jefferson, but as you said, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, they're no slouches. I mean, and no one can hide now, right? For fantasy, so we'll know who's a bust, we'll know who's not. Because Kirk, I mean, he's been throwing 4,000 yards every year now. So
That man not only is his name Captain Kirk, but his name is also Captain Bag Getter. Total of $411 million that he's received in the NFL, and also each NFL contract that he's had at least $100 million guaranteed.
shout out to his agent. That man,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Kirk's doing what he needs to do, but that's brilliant. I mean, good for him. But yeah, that's a big loss for Minnesota.
Huge loss. Huge
Um,
loss. There's going to be a lot of things that I think are going to, depending on what happens, because obviously there's talks with um, what could happen with Justin Fields,
right.
and obviously that's within the division. But if the Chicago Bears are so over and done with Justin Fields, then why does it matter? Almost, um,
Right. I
that's how I feel with that. With that,
it would definitely be one of the better landing spots for him. I think they have it would be the best weapons he's ever had. If he went there, obviously if they're able to keep JJ, Addison's no slouch. I know Hawkinson's going to be coming off that knee injury, but
Yeah, that'll be a good offense. But I mean, there's still a lot to be said with that. So we'll see. But let's talk about what your comment about Arthur Smith. So you mentioned, oh, finally they got a quarterback, but hey, he's on now a team that finally got a quarterback, Russell Wilson.
yeah, so my brothers, they've been tracking it for a couple days before this,
I'm
even
sure they're
because the
very
meeting
excited.
that was prior and whatnot. Yeah, no, they're definitely very optimistic. And look, like he hasn't been the Russ that you know Denver and everyone thought he was going to be.
Mhm.
But I think this is a good situation for both sides. I don't think he's going to go back to Seahawks play, but Arthur Smith as an offensive coordinator was able to bring Tannehill's career back to life. I think he could do the same thing here. They have a decent offensive line, good running backs. I think he has a great offensive mind. They have nothing to lose there, right? I think best case for them is Pickett somehow looks amazing and ends up starting, and then it's just like, all right, well, we have a veteran that he can help him out. Worst case, you got a veteran that they have a solid team with that can probably at least be competitive with. I mean, they made the playoffs with Mason Rudolph playing for a little bit, so
Yeah.
um, I like it for both sides. I like this opportunity for Russell, and I like the opportunity for Arthur Smith.
Great job for the Steelers because they still have a ton of money that they can go ahead and spend to, build up that team because they only have to pay Russ $1.8 million and Denver pays the 37 or
Right.
$38 million left over.
Between him and Kenny, they're only paying like $3.5 million in quarterback play. That's awesome.
Yeah, and that's a good point to bring up too, because with Kenny, I mean, I think like you mentioned, it's going to be good that he can learn after Russ, but also it sparks something under Kenny because listen, Kenny he broke Dan Marino's record so in college. So I mean, he's a good quarterback,
You know,
but it's still there's just a lot to be said with him with his potential because we don't know. I mean, like he's inconsistent. So I'm curious how this sparks some fire up up his ass.
yeah, I think it can only be a good thing for him. You either sink or swim,
Yeah,
and I mean, usually a third year, we're gonna find out. Who Kenny Pickett really is.
I do want to say this. So I have one of my friends. His name's TJ.
Okay.
Big big Steelers fan, right? One of the things that he said, and I'm like, oh Lord, please, like, do you hear yourself? He said, I hope they keep Mason Rudolph. What?
That's what you know.
What?
It's a Steelers fan thing because my brothers were saying the same thing, and,
Dude.
and I was, I mean, I was saying to them, I'm like, I mean,
You know what he reminds me of? Mac Jones. That's what he reminds me of.
I
Very
mean,
much of a Mac
that's
Jones.
kind of what if Mac Jones. I mean, he's yeah,
That's
same court.
they're
Yeah.
very much on par with each other. So anybody that's thinking Mason Rudolph is it like, come on,
He had a good
come
run
on, be
towards the end of last
realistic.
season. I'll give him that. He played very well.
Yeah, because nobody remembered Mason Rudolph from like 3 years ago, and they're like, oh crap, that's that guy. That oh wait, now we remember him.
Some guys figure it out a little more as they get older, and I think Mason Rudolph's a good enough as a backup. I think he can start a few games for you in the season,
Valid.
like he did.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, he if someone tries to use him which I think they will, as a bridge quarterback this year, I think you're going to kind of see that you know he's not capable of that.
Hmm.
Like some of these other guys have tried, and every year, right? There's these guys that get the opportunity like that, and then they kind of just show why they haven't started for for a team.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's a Steelers thing, man. It's a
it
Steelers
is. It
fan thing.
is. So yeah. So let's go down the list. We got next. Well, they,
So Tony Pollard on the
yeah.
Titans. That's
Okay.
that's a big one. I like the move. I do I love it. I don't. We don't necessarily need. We didn't need a running back like that. Like I would have been fine with them like signing Gus Edwards with Spears. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I love Pollard. I mean, Pollard's a baller, and he. The one thing I'll say is before last year he broke his ankle in that playoff game, and then he kind of wasn't the same this year. And I actually think Tennessee kind of almost bought him on a discount because if you look at what he did the year before, I mean, dude, he's so good, and he did it better as a 1-2 punch than getting the bulk like he did last year. So I like that opportunity. Callahan's a genius with the running backs. I mean, Mixon and P. Ryan had some of their best years, so I like it. It wasn't exactly the first thing we needed, though.
Not the first thing you guys needed, but great weapons to bolster up that offense.
Yep.
Um,
Gabe Davis to the Jaguars. That's a big move for them.
Gabe Davis to the Jaguars. Like I told you earlier, I didn't even know that he went to the Jaguars because I heard that he was a free agent. And then no, that's a big filler for them. Because they're not going to be able to afford, obviously, Calvin Ridley, I think so.
And he didn't pan out the way that they wanted him to. I think Gabe Davis.
He had some good games. I don't see how Gabe Davis is any better in my opinion. I don't think Gabe Davis is any better than
it.
Why am I blanking on his name when I just said it?
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley.
I
don't think he's better than Calvin Ridley.
I don't either, but I think it's more of like a fit. And I think he complements what they have more because he stretches the field for that. He's a huge deep ball threat. And I'm not saying Ridley wasn't, but Ridley's more of like a route technician. But so is Christian Kirk. So is like Evan Ingram, right? Like I think they needed another type of outside receiver like that along with Zay Jones. I just like the fit. So I think that's a huge signing. I mean, you were right. They can't afford. Ridley's going to have a higher payday than him. Mm-hmm. Pittman going back to the Colts, great move for them.
He got a big bag from them too.
Yeah, he did.
But that's
he's a beast though. He's proven himself.
It's warranted, man.
He's played with some shitty quarterback play and he produces. So I'm now a believer in him.
Yeah, I agree.
We talked about Russ, Christian Wilkerson to the Raiders. That's a huge move for them.
Christian Wilkerson,
run stuffer.
I for sure thought that that the Miami Dolphins were playing smoke and mirrors when they were like not when he essentially was, a free agent and I'm like, wait, are they really not going to sign him? Like they're really not going to re-sign him? And so I see breaking news, Christian Wilkerson, and I'm like, oh, must have got re-signed by, the Dolphins because all I see, I just hit the see more and I just see $100 million. I'm like, oh, he must have got signed by the Dolphins, and I see the Raiders, and I'm like, what?
That's a good move by them.
Very great move. It was a sneaky move. I did not expect the Raiders to be, buyers
aggressive like that,
especially this early. But that is actually a great move by the Raiders. It's been talked about how they need to get help with Max Crosby. Max Crosby has been needing help over there
for sure.
That defense now becomes, in my opinion, like I told you earlier, I think that defense becomes a top 10 run defense in the league.
Well, that's a great start. I
don't know overall how well they can be as a defense because obviously we got to see how their DBs are, but front seven is going to be
you build from the line out. I think that
front four at least will be very good.
That's a great start. When we go down the list, there's another one or two that they got down here that are some good complementary guys to those two that we talked about. Cam Lewis, he re-signed with the Bills along with Tyler Rapp. Those two, since they let go of Poyer, they let go of Hyde too. No, Hyde's there, right? Or no?
Hyde?
Hyde? I think he's still. I know they let go of Poyer. There was a handful of guys that they really cut.
I did not see Micah Hyde on that list. But,
yeah, I don't think. I think they still. I think.
Yeah, he's still
there. But Poyer. They let go Mitch Morse. They let go obviously Gabe Davis. They let a lot of guys go here in this free agency.
There's a long list that they cut.
And the Dolphins too. Speaking of Wilkerson, there's so many guys on that defensive side they don't have anymore. Xavier Howard now. Van Ginkel, we'll go down that list. He's gone. There's a couple other guys here. Van Ginkel.
That's actually you made me think about this because I wanted to bring this up earlier too. Let's talk about that actually, Van Ginkel. So going to the Vikings.
Yeah.
A typical Vikings move.
Yeah.
Vikings love linebackers.
Well,
they love those type of linebackers.
They
like that look.
They do the same thing every time. they lose one or two in free agency, and then they just replace it with someone else. It's like
It's
it's a revolving door.
yeah, and you might as well just call
I
that
mean,
like
he's good.
yeah, no, he's definitely good. I think that'll be a good signing for them, of course.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I just briefly saw in here earlier when we were chatting because I was looking at his list. Um, Zach Ertz to the Commanders.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I almost want to pull a Tiki Barber and be like, "You're dead to me." Nah, love you, Zach. I'm glad that
He's
you're
just
right.
trying to stay in the league.
Yeah, love that he's still able to go ahead and you know
Yeah,
produce. We'll see. I mean,
he probably just wants to come to Philly twice a year.
I I'm like waiting for him to just be like, "Yo, I'm hanging it up," and then he's like,
Signs with you guys for
signs for us
yeah,
for
a day or
10 day or
whatever.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
or yeah, a day. I mean, I said 10 day. Sorry, a day.
No, we
We're
need
not talking
10
about
days out of
NBA.
you.
Yo,
Hit the line, son.
you could do something. No, so that's actually that was one that I wasn't aware of. I was that that's shocking. The Commanders. Ugh. Why would you want to like put that jersey on?
Yeah.
Goodness.
Doris Armstrong went to the Commanders from the Cowboys, defensive tackle.
Commanders have been
Very active.
yeah,
Very
they're
active.
buyers in this
Yep. They're going
in this
hard.
free agency right now.
Drew Sample back to the Bengals. Brandon Jones, good cornerback from Miami, went to the Broncos. My favorite sign-in from the Titans so far, Lloyd Cushenberry. He is a no. He's a center. I know, funny name. Center from the Broncos,
Okay.
elite talent. Only gave up 1 sack last year. The only
Yeah.
reason that they're not re-signing him is basically because that disaster of a team. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They can't. They're not going to pay him. So, huge move. Right next to Skronowski now,
Mhm.
the Northwestern guard we got last year. So love it there. Mitch Morris, we talked about him. Went to
Yep.
the Jaguars. Great move there. He's probably like the second best center. Mac Jones to the Jaguars.
Mac Jones also. Yeah, I did see Mac Jones went to the Jaguars. I also saw Will Lutz went to the Jaguars as
Yep.
well.
Will Lutz. Yep. Good kicker. David Bakhtiari released finally. So I'm curious what team picks him up. He's a solid left tackle. You just got to stay healthy. He's never on the field.
Yeah, he's one that always hurt constantly. One person that I just saw last Friday, Bilal Nichols.
Yeah.
Saw him. I was at the UD Pro Day.
Oh, he was there.
He was
Oh,
there.
he was at. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was there. So I didn't get a chance to like actually chat with him. I did see Paul Warlow again, and every time I see Paul Warlow, I'm like, "What's up, Paul?" He's like, "How you doing, man? How you doing?" Cool, really cool guy, really cool guy. But no, Bilal, good signing by the Cardinals on getting some defensive tackle help over there.
Yep. Cardinals have been active too a little bit here.
Yeah, but it's always going to be F. Gannon. I don't like Gannon.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, can't stand him.
Jonathan Greenard, he's one of the Vikings linebackers they got here. Yeah, he's a good guy from the Texans, so I like that signing. Landon Dickerson, I like that lock up there from you guys.
So let's talk about my birds.
Yeah.
Let's talk about my birds.
That was a good lockup.
So Landon Dickerson signs huge contract also. Happy anniversary to him and his wife. That was like so ironic how it's his anniversary today and he gets that big ass contract. I'm like, yo,
good for you, buddy.
Howie's like,
yeah,
he's just sitting there milking the cow. He's like, yo, you wanna go ahead and take out your girl for a nice little day? He's like, yeah, we'll take my girl for a nice little date.
He's like, why don't you come in the morning?
Why don't you come in here and sign this $85 million contract? $45 million.
We'll leave, and then you and your wife can
like, I'm like, damn, like that's a perfect like little just like nugget to start the day off.
Well, no, it's like you sign. It makes sense though, right? You sign Saquon.
It is.
You know what?
We're
gonna load up. We're gonna make sure that this guy ain't going anywhere.
So
after 4 years of Saquon.
Hold on, before Saquon, let's actually talk about Bryce Huff. So I love the fact that Bryce Huff, young guy, 25 years old,
yep,
defensive end. He's listed as a defensive end, but he's one that can play linebacker as well. So I'm curious what they do with him because the Eagles also got what's his name? You have him on here. Baun.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yep.
Baun. So we found
Zach Baun.
Zach Baun So we have some help at least with the linebackers. So I'm just curious what happens there. Now, staying on defense, I truly think that Josh Sweat goes to another team. I think he gets traded to another team, and then I do think that Hassan Reddick stays. Um, and the way that he gets his additional money is, by some additional incentives. I think that they'll probably, or restructure his contract potentially, something along the lines of just giving him some additional money,
Mm-hmm.
in some way to make him happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the defense. And actually, before I go off of the defense, Howie, keep on working. You're doing your thing, man. If you can bring CJ back, I would love that. CJ Gardner,
I
there's
heard the
rumors
Titans linked to him.
that would be a
I
good
would
a
fucking
good
love
signing for
that.
him.
Yeah.
But either CJ, Justin Simmons, um, I would like Jordan Poyer as well, but I know
Yeah.
Poyer's going to probably get a bag from somebody. So I would love one of those guys on the defensive side. Um, Now let's talk about Saquon. Let me
Yeah.
cheers real quick. Let me cheers. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy, man.
Yeah. Big sign.
I am so happy. Um, so I said this earlier at the gym to Degs and my friend Anthony that it's the first time I can actually root for a Penn State player. Now I know we had Miles Sanders, but it's more so of like the level of talent that we're getting, and to finally see, like, I vividly remember watching Saquon run up that field, in Happy Valley, like on TV constantly in every single game. I'm just like, man, this kid's gonna be crazy good. And then obviously he comes to the league, murders Philly twice a year because he always gets like 100+ yards on us, and I'm just like, all right, great. This guy's just gonna kill us for the rest of my life. And there was no way that I was able to go ahead and root for him. And finally, oh my gosh, the level of excitement that I had the minute that I heard the Eagles signed Saquon Barkley. I almost wanted to do a backflip. I can't do a backflip. I would have broke my neck.
Yeah, no, it's
I would have broke
he
my neck.
was definitely I think the best running back on the market. Um as far as talent plus age, things like that into play. Um I think he's a great weapon for Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is gonna have to look to dump it off a little more, like some don't just chuck it deep sometimes. And I think Barkley's an elite route runner as a running back, so I just think it gives him a lot of extra help. He's good in pass pro. Um,
Sorry, guys.
so no, I mean the one I will say this: there is a part of me that's like, well, could they have just signed Swift back for 3 years, 24 million? I wouldn't have been mad about that either.
I wouldn't have been mad about that. You know, let's say, all right, let's flip the script, right? Let's talk hypotheticals. If they
Right.
would have went with Swift, my expectation after that would have been like, okay, you better bolster up that defense now.
Right.
Like you better throw money out there like crazy. Like I better see okay, let's not only get Huff, I want to see Simmons, I want to see
Like if you were able to
like I
get
want
like
to see
a
like
safe, like you
even
basically.
Stephon Gilmore, bring him to Philly.
So it's like, would you rather have Barkley, Huff, and then a secondary guy? We'll call it CJ. Okay.
I'm going to pull up
Or like
that
Swift, and you get
the
two secondaries with Huff.
I'm going to pull up that graphic that I sent to you
The
and Anthony the other. Actually, that was actually, yeah, the other day. All right, so
huh.
well, and it's funny because it's like
It's a little. It's yeah.
now. So I'm curious, like what happens next. Jordan Brooks is already off the list.
Right. He just got
Um,
signed.
Willie Gay, he hasn't gotten signed.
Mm-mm. He's a
I'm
good linebacker.
curious what happens what happens with him because I would love him and I would love him in Philly. So anyways, let me tell you guys this graphic that we're looking at. So it's talking about Eagles free agency predictions, and there were it was two uh, Instagram posts, I guess. So the Let's Go Birds and then Fly Eagles only, or Philly Eagles only, and then one side had Saquon, Tyler Boyd, Xavier McKinney, and Jordan Brooks, and the other side had Zach Moss, Bryce Huff, C.J. Gardner Johnson, and then Willie Gay. Um, so
So right now you got Saquon and
we have
Huff.
Saquon and Huff, right? I would like, I, in my ideal in the ideal situation, I would love C.J. and Willie. So
Um,
essentially, replacing Zach Moss and Saquon and just having that as the
I mean, if that was the case, that's a great haul.
yeah
That's
yeah.
a fantastic haul.
Do we have that money? I don't know because there's a lot of money that they're giving to Bryce. Obviously, a lot of money that they're giving to Saquon as well,
Right.
but a lot of money that they're giving to Bryce. So um, I don't. I'm happy with what we have
Yeah.
right now. I'm
Yeah.
happy with what we have. Even because like I can very well see them going into the draft. Obviously,
Hmm.
addressing that defense. Okay. Um, looking at the defensive backs right now, it's Slay, um,
Bradbury.
Isaiah Rogers, and Bradbury. Okay.
Hmm.
So you could very well, if Ringo produces better in this offseason with camp and all that stuff, and he looks good, he could very well be the starter over Bradbury. And Bradbury's on the bench. Bradbury, in my opinion, is not a starter right now. Last year was horrible. Last year
It
was
wasn't
horrible,
good.
and I do want to give him a chance with seeing what he can go ahead and do. But this is like this isn't your first year with Philly. This is your second year with Philly. So you should be able
Well,
to go ahead
it'll
and
yeah, second full year. Yeah.
we have another defensive coordinator. Obviously, the system's going to look a little bit different.
S-
So
So you got
let's see,
your one safety. Who's your boy?
Reed Blankenship.
Blankenship. So then you guys need to fill the other one.
Yep,
Okay.
and that's where I'm. Like I said, if ideally I would like Gardner back, C.J. Gardner Johnson. Um,
Can Ringo play safety?
no, hell no.
No. Okay.
That boy is lanky. He ain't gonna hit nobody.
Okay.
Yeah, you need somebody that can go ahead and that's gonna be a headhunter out there, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. I got you.
So it's either gonna be I can see them. My prediction is that the Eagles do sign a safety.
I mean, there's a bunch of them out there. Eddie Jackson's out there. Their list
I
goes
don't think
on.
I don't know if they're gonna go. I mean, I would hope because of the fact of how much money that they have. I don't know right now. I don't know how much money that they have after all those signings, but I would hope that they would throw some money out for that safety position
Hmm.
to secure secure those levels of your defense.
Hmm.
Okay, um, and then the rest, you know, fill it in with the draft and obviously just any other players that Howie can go ahead and get.
Right. I mean, we're only in day one. You know,
It's and like
day
and
one.
like I said
So
earlier, it's unofficial, so it's crazy how it's already been
there's been those
this.
always those signings or two that's like, oh, actually, he's going here now.
Yep, yep. I do want to go ahead and shout out Chris Jones or not Chris Jones. I'm sorry, I saw that actually on here. Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox. Amazing careers with the Eagles. By far, Jason Kelsey is the greatest center in Philadelphia history. Um, Probably one of the greatest centers, if not the greatest center in NFL history.
One of them for
One of
sure.
one of them for sure.
Yeah.
He's definitely in a
Yeah.
definitely top three.
He's great. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
First ballot Hall of Famer for sure.
Um,
Fletcher Cox,
Great career.
amazing career as well.
Yep.
Um,
Other first balloter probably.
I honestly think if Jason would have came back, I think Fletch would have came back one more year.
I
But they,
mean, I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if like a month before he's just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna come back."
yeah, yeah.
I could easily see him getting the itch.
Well, this is where it comes down to seeing like how much he's involved because he very well could be involved with like I think at the minute that he steps on that field again, that itch may happen.
Hmm.
Um, but I think as long as he's able to be involved with the team in some capacity,
Hmm.
then I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true.
I think he'll be fine. So no, shout out to you guys. Definitely wanted to go ahead and amazing careers.
Couple
Next is
re-signs.
BG.
So,
So, but let's move on.
yep, couple re-signs. Zaire Franklin, linebacker with the Colts. They did a lot of re-signing with their defensive line.
That
Yeah,
was a
and the
good one
linemen.
too.
Yeah,
That was a
a
really
good
good one.
one.
Their defense is actually.
Well, they were really good last year.
I told you that
Yeah.
what was it, last 6 weeks of the season that I had them in fantasy and they were putting up double digit
Oh, yeah.
points because they constantly had
Yep.
multiple
Great matchups
fumbles that they were
and-
getting,
and,
like
yep.
recoveries and picks. It was wild.
So there's definitely more down the list here, but he was one of them. Kendrick Bourne got re-signed with the Patriots, locked up there. Baker Mayfield to the Bucks.
Shout out Bake, man. Shout out to Bake.
I like the opportunity for him. I mean, they locked up Mike Evans. They locked him up.
Huge contract for him, but that was great though. He gets 3 years.
When I looked at the rest of the league, like
it's on par.
It is on par. He's maybe could be a hair less, maybe, but he was making as much as Jared Goff, which is kind of like I'm like okay.
Yeah.
So he re-signed Andre James, center for the Raiders, re-signed
John Runyon Jr. to the Giants.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
I was a little salty about that because that was one of the guys that I was hoping that that Howie was gonna be able to bring to the Eagles. I think I told you this before. It's like your father played with us his whole career.
Yeah, like to see him in that unity
like to see
too.
him there. But,
yeah.
So that kind of sucks, but good job to the Giants. And they also got Brian Burns.
Huge trade there. I mean, their defensive line's looking good.
Yep,
it's looking very good.
Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, and Brian Burns. So that's going to be a good defense to look forward to. But Eagles still going to go ahead and put up 35 on that ass. So let's go. Anyways, let's move on.
Eric
love you,
Armstead
Alex.
got released. He's a big time defensive tackle. He's actually someone that's been linked to the Titans. I would love to see him come here. That's why they let Danico Autry. Danico Autry is one of the guys signed with the Texans. But Rand Carthen, he comes from the Niners, so I could see them getting him potentially. Foley Fatatuski or Fadukasi, don't know who he is, signed with the Texans. Kevin Byard, ex-Titan, ex-Eagle, signed with the Bears.
You can go ahead and
I'll claim him.
pack your bags and get on out.
He was a beast with us. I'll claim him.
Yeah. I mean, he did well with you guys, so good for him. Drew Tranquill.
Yep, that's a good re-sign
with the Chiefs. I'm really hoping that. I mean,
Chris Jones. They
no way we can get Snead. Like if he just goes ahead,
the asking price is too much, man.
Yeah, I guess
you might as well just sign one of these other safeties.
Yeah, that is true.
I'd be shocked if he gets traded that soon because of the landscape of those safeties out there.
Right.
Tyrann
Smith. Yeah, Tyrann Mathieu. I mean, going back to the Saints, that was good for him. I mean, he's probably going to just retire a Saint at this point, I think, because he's definitely towards the end of his career. What do we have?
Johnson got locked up with the Bears. He's an ace cornerback. Michael Thomas released from the Saints. I'm curious to see who picks him up and if he can still kind of, he had a little very season last year. He looked like he didn't have as much in the
bunch of legal issues. That's why.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Didn't he slap someone or something?
Freaking also, with the gun. I think it was. Sorry. You're good. With a gun, so yeah, he's on another level. I don't know what happens.
He's a little cray.
Antonio Gibson to the Patriots.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think that's a good little compliment to Stevenson.
Patriots are I don't know. They're taking care of their offensive side of their quarterback. I mean, they
Well, I
got
guess
rid
they're
of
gonna have to draft one.
their quarterback, but they didn't want to.
Kendrick Bourne, Antonio Gibson. They released Devontae Parker, who sucks.
Yeah,
Um.
he was really good with Miami, and then just I
Oh
don't know.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Mitch Trubisky went back to the Bills to back up
Yeah,
Josh Allen, which
yep.
that's a good sign.
Gus Edwards to the Chargers.
Yeah, I like it.
That
I
was
think I
a good one. He goes from one Harbaugh to another.
yeah, I know. I was laughing at that.
You get Xavier McKinney to the Packers. Man, oh man, this
And
is what
Josh
this. All right,
Jacobs.
all right,
That's
all
two
right.
good signs for them.
Timeout. Timeout.
They
We're
were
gonna
paid
go
a lot.
back to the Eagles really quick. I just want to because this is a
Yeah,
point that I want to
yeah.
make. This is why I say like there's money that they can throw at the safety position because they were about to
They were in
sign
contention with him. Yeah,
Xavier McKinney. So if
yeah,
they were about to sign Xavier McKinney, then we have money to still throw to the safety position.
yeah,
So Jordan Poyer, come on.
yeah.
CJ Gardner, come on. Let's go. One of y'all. I'll take y'all. So that was
So yeah, him and Jacobs to the Packers. So they're really bolstering their team up here. Two big moves there. Jacobs, I'm not gonna lie, I like him a lot. I think they paid a little bit more than I would want to for him, just
it
because he's not a huge pass catcher either. I mean, Aaron Jones is a do it all back.
it doesn't move the needle again for me because I'm like, all right, so you have Aaron Jones, very much elusive, a lot more elusive, I think, than Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs has the elusiveness, but he's more of that power back.
Yeah,
Um,
north south.
yeah, I don't know. I don't like
It
it.
it has to be a durability thing. I mean, Jacobs has missed some games too, but Aaron Jones, since that contract
And
they gave him a couple years ago, he's missed so many.
and they just let go, or they just yeah, they're missing two key pieces to their line right now, Bakhtiari and Runyon. So it's like,
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
totally retool him there
You
too.
got to
Yeah,
figure that whole side
they
out.
they lost Darnell Savage. He
Hmm.
went to the Jaguars. Colby Parkinson, he's a tight end. He went to the Rams.
Devin Singletary to the Giants.
Yup,
They got a
that's
running back for cheap.
that's their Barkley replacement. But
Yeah,
look,
uh,
he's not bad,
he's not a bad running back.
but
They
ain't
could
gonna
obviously go ahead and have a running back by committee over there too.
right.
So
Ain't gonna
I
save
could
their
I could
team.
actually see like possibly AJ Dillon going over there.
Right. No,
That would be
exactly.
a team
Like
that I could see.
a tandem like that.
Yeah, AJ
Right.
Dillon
Singletary.
and Singletary. That would be a pretty good tandem back there.
Jonah
Um,
Jackson he's a guard from the Lions. He went to the
how do you
Rams.
feel about Gardner Minshew to the Raiders?
I mean,
Man gets another contract.
well, we'll see
Well, I mean, he does
because
well. Obviously, he did well with
he'd be in a competition with
what did he
McConnell,
sign? I want to see what he
and then
signed.
I'm assuming they're gonna draft a rookie. I'm assuming.
What are the details on this signing? It's not much actually. Wait, no, I'm sorry, that is not it. All right, so there is no details. Oh wait, here we go. 2 year, $25 million, 15 million guaranteed, and he's to compete with Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. I mean,
So it doesn't seem like they're gonna. I mean,
I think they'll still draft someone.
unless out of nowhere they go after Justin Fields, but who knows?
Yeah, they were flirting with that. That'd be interesting. Something to monitor. Sean Murphy Button. He was an ex-Titan
Leonard
last year
Floyd
with the Cardinals. Yep, Leonard Floyd. Leonard Floyd. Uh,
going to the Niners. They got
good
they're
move.
bolstering that defense again. I mean, they lose Chase Young, of course, so that's going to be a reason why.
They lose Chase Young. They had to release Armstead. There's probably a few more they're gonna have to. I mean, I think Dre Greenlaw is gonna be out next year
Yeah.
because of what happened to him. So that's a good move for them. Good little
Oh
insurance
yeah,
policy
his
there.
torn. What was it?
Yeah.
Torn Achilles.
Yeah,
Yeah,
torn
yeah.
Achilles.
That,
Feel
that
bad for him.
sucks. That sucks.
Taekwon Lewis, he's another re-sign for the Colts. Aaron Jones, we said, is released. We got Blake Cashman to the Vikings, another Texans. They just took on both the Texans linebackers. They love that team.
Yeah,
You talk about
yeah.
Bilal Nichols, good little sign for the Cardinals. Jeff Okuda to the Texans, good
Yeah.
low risk, high reward sign there, along with the Nico Autry. And then they got my boy Aziz Al Shaair. So good moves there for them.
Hmm.
Uh,
Austin Eckler to the Commanders.
yeah, that's an interesting one. I actually like it. I think he fits the because Brian Robinson's a north south guy.
Hey, I tell you what, Eagles and Commanders are about to take it to the damn Cowboys, and we're about to run up and down that ass.
Well, hold on, who's
Because
playing? Who's playing quarterback at the Commanders?
Sam Howell. So that's why they're going to be running. That's why they'll be running a lot. But no, I think that's a good signing. I mean, he gets a 2-year contract with them, so that's a good little signing for them.
Yep.
Will Dissly to the Chargers. Zadarius Smith,
back with the Browns.
Resigns with the Browns. Jordan Brooks. So they obviously Dolphins lose a lot of players, but they
made up for
it to
one
get
or two
Jordan
of
Brooks
them.
back.
Yep.
So there you go.
Marcus Davenport to the Lions. I like that move a lot. He's a good low key move there. AJ Espinosa back to the Bills.
Yep.
Jermaine Eliminor, he's a good little offensive lineman, low key from the Raiders. Giants, good move there. With
I tell you this much: if there's an offensive lineman that gets signed on the first day of free agency, then that must mean something.
Oh yeah,
that must mean something. So
for sure. And
keep an eye on that.
Another move the Titans made that I love, Chidobe Awuzie from the Bengals. He's a really, really good player, solid addition. Will be a little culture setter. And then Geno Stone, big time safety to the Bengals.
To the Bengals,
yeah, went to the rival. So I'm about to take a quick peek, see if anything else has happened while we've been
chatting away
here. So the Patriots have agreed to terms with Jacoby Brissett.
Yep.
Jordan Hicks.
He returns back to the Patriots.
Yep. Jordan Hicks is going to the Browns, 2-year deal. Aaron Brewer, center, ex-Titan, going to the Dolphins. Have fun.
Tommy Townsend, former Chiefs punter, signing a 2-year, $6 million deal with the Texans.
Leonard Williams went back to the Seahawks.
Buccaneers are re-signing free agent running back Chase Edmonds to a 1-year deal.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Aaron Brewer said that one. Jacoby, that might be it. Let's see. One last peruse here.
Did we talk about Frank Louvu as well?
Oh, the linebacker. I missed that one.
Yeah, he signed a 3-year deal with the Commanders. He was another one that's
yeah, they've been busy.
They were definitely busy. They were definitely busy.
Ronald Darby to the Jaguars.
Yep.
That's a good little sign for them. I hate to say it.
We got a lot going on. Adam Schefter, you are doing your thing, my guy.
Tommy Townsend back with the Chief. Did you say that one?
Yeah, Tommy Townsend signing a $6 million 2-year deal with.
God, I'd love to be a punter for $6 million.
Listen, man, that's the one position that I played in high school in football because I played soccer, and I kind of wish I stuck to it because I thought I was actually pretty good, and there was even some of the people that were like, "Holy crap!" So would have been pretty cool to see what would have happened. That's one of my favorite positions, though, is punting.
But a big day here in free agency.
Huge day.
I'd say a couple guys that I'm really looking forward to see where they go that are out there. Some big names: Derrick Henry, obviously, Calvin Ridley, Patrick Queen, Bobby Wagner, some guys. A lot of cornerbacks and safeties. I want to know
Bobby's
going to
go probably somewhere that they're going to need like just a veteran just to help out with.
Like Atlanta?
That could be a team that he could very well go to.
A little leader, you know?
Yeah, to just teach those young boys like, all right, this is proper way to play how to be a linebacker.
So all the safeties, I want to see where they go. You know, some
lots
of these
safeties. Tuesday's going to be safety day.
Safety day.
I'm predicting it now. We're going to wake up and
some of these quarterbacks too, like. Not that they're amazing, but I'm just like the Brissetts. I'm always like curious by that. Just like because obviously Brissett's going to be the bridge quarterback with their rookie they're going to sign. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like those situations.
Patriots are going to be another down year.
I feel like they're going to get that LSU boy, which I like a lot. Actually, I think he's legit. That'd be a good move for them. But yeah, no, it's day 2 is gonna be day 2 is usually almost as good. So we'll probably see. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning and just like There's gonna be like
Jaden Daniels is the
yep,
one you're
Jaden
talking about.
McDaniels. Yep, I like him a lot. Him and Caleb Williams, I do think are gonna be probably good. You don't like
I don't
Caleb?
think Caleb was going to be good. Jaden Daniels, I think, will be good. I, for some reason, don't think.
I'm not a big Bo Nix guy. I'm not a big Drake
Nah,
May guy.
no.
Not a big McCarthy guy. Who am I missing? Penix.
There's not many. There's not many
Penix, I just
quarterbacks.
see at best he's like another Tua. Is kind of what I see. I don't know.
Damn, that's high praise.
At best,
At best, it's still high praise.
you think?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I don't
At
know. I
best,
mean,
he's
it's
a
a
backup.
solid quarterback at best, but I don't think he has it. I wouldn't if I was someone that needed a quarterback in this draft. I wouldn't.
If you need a quarterback,
I just probably
Don't.
trade back. I would trade for Justin Fields, man. Like if I'm one of these guys,
I agree. I agree.
would just do it, man. I mean,
I
you
agree.
don't need to give up your first.
treat him as
like,
another quarterback in the draft.
Yeah,
essentially.
I
You go-
definitely would. I'd even, yeah, I'd almost take a shot at one of these unproven guys over the last couple of years. Like I don't know about him, but he's the first guy that comes to mind, like a Trey Lance or something like that. Then take a shot on like
Trey Lance is probably going to be that guy behind Dak after Dak leaves, because I think this is Dak's last year on contract with Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is his last year because they were talking about how much he's getting. Let's look up Dak's contract. Dak.
I'm not gonna lie,
Prescott.
if I was Dallas, I think I would trade Dak right now.
So
Get the
he's
best season of his career.
next year's his last year.
I just would get ahead of it.
This is the thing, though, is that what team's going to take that $29 million?
Oh, there's a team that's gonna take it. There's a
guess-
team that's gonna
I
take
guess you
it.
see. Unless it depends on like if
I mean,
it's
dude,
something.
think about
if
think
it
about
comes down-
what Derek Carr got, like all these guys, what they got.
What I'm thinking also is that if this is something that does Dallas go ahead and take on some of the money,
Right.
You know, like just like with Russell Wilson,
Right,
so
something like that to part ways with them.
yeah,
I mean,
that would
what
be
about
big
like
news.
Minnesota, like something like
That would be huge.
You know what I mean?
Huge.
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 It's gonna be very, very good.
Very, very good. Very, very good. Huge.
We're gonna win.
Huge. Everything's gonna be huge. Big contracts.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't know.
All right, guys. Well, another great week.
Yeah.
You know, keep an eye out on this free agency, just like we are. I will do my best to post something this week. And outside of that, got anything you want to end off with at all, or no?
Yeah, just we'll try to keep you updated here. If there's anything you want to hear, let us know. But we like we said, we thought this was a good change of pace this week. Very important to cover this day
Yes.
one. So
Yes.
probably expect an NBA one coming up soon, and
Yeah.
we'll be throwing the NFL ones out there accordingly. Maybe leading up to the draft, and as crazy as it sounds, we're gonna blink and we're gonna be talking about fantasy football again.
I'm excited.
Oh yeah.
I am.
Well, with all this,
super
all the carousel
excited.
here, I mean, I'm just thinking about all these running backs going elsewhere. These receivers.
I almost have to have like a whole new list to see, like, okay, no, obviously we always have that list, but it's like, damn, wait, who is with what team?
Well,
like I'm gonna always think that, this player
makes
with
it
this
that
team.
much harder to try to guess the board more, right? Like
Yeah.
think about the everyone when people move teams, you don't know what's gonna happen more than like getting a new coach or something like that. So it's gonna be fun.
Yep. Very excited. So, well, that is our episode, fam. If you're not doing anything as usual, we're always telling y'all, go ahead and do yourself a favor and crack a cold one. Cheers, fam.